Welcome to the Exceptionally Irresistible Show, featuring conversations with people who have demonstrated exceptional success in their lives and who have some irresistible qualities worth learning from. Come learn how others have created an exceptionally irresistible life. You too can live an extraordinary life, both personally and professionally. So sit back, relax, grab your favorite beverage, and enjoy the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Exceptionally Irresistible Show. Today, as you can see, we have things a little bit different than how we normally do it, and where we interview virtually. And here we are face to face. And I am so excited about this episode. I've been waiting for this for a very long time. And if you guys remember, if you're following my posts on LinkedIn, you're going to remember I wrote a little article about Coach Danny, about the team that he leads, the robotics team that he leads. I was at a competition and I watched how this amazing team, a rookie team, a team that started from scratch, wins competitions, and they're winning and they're winning and they're winning. And I was just so blown away by the story. And I remember sitting there in the audience and looking down and saying, there's got to be an amazing leader behind this. And that's where we are here today with Coach Danny Smith. Hi and welcome. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you for setting this up. I'm excited about this. I'd talk to
you. So, Danny, before we jump into your philosophies and things that you use in your coaching, I have one question that I like to ask everybody before we begin. If you were standing on top of some rooftop somewhere and you had a message for the world and you're calling out that message, what is that message that you'd like everybody to know?
The main message I would like for everybody to know that you are special. You are amazing. And you've got everything in you to be successful in this life, to win at life, to be everything that you want to be, that you're made to be. It's in you. But it's up to you to unleash that. So I'm here today just to let you know that you're perfect, you're awesome, and you can do anything. And also my faith in God comes into everything, that I've got an amazing God that created everything, and he's in me, so, and working through me. So anything's possible. So just, that's what I would like for everybody to know, that all things are possible. There's unlimited potential in you. There's unlimited possibilities, opportunities in you. You have to see that for yourself.
Yeah, I love that message, and it really ties in to a lot of the stuff that, as an observer watching in and seeing how you coach your team and how you do all the things that you do with the robotics teams, bringing these kids who, I got to meet you also in the last team. I think it was Omega Bytes, was that what they called? Yeah. And the other team that you had before, these were a group of kids who come from, people would probably say a little bit less, quote unquote, privileged backgrounds. I don't believe in these kind of things. That's just personally. But anyway, but these are people with a little bit more limited options and possibilities. And I've seen you coach them, and I've just seen how it's really that, what you just said there. Like, you really see every single person as an individual with endless opportunity.
That's what I see. And the main thing is you got to let them see that. And as a leader, you also want to find like-minded people like you to put around you, because you can't do it by yourself.
Right.
You've got to have relationships with other leaders, other people, and to help with this, because when somebody hears it over and over again from one person, they start to tune you out.
Yeah.
But you got other people speaking the same language, the same life-giving voice. When you have that speaking into them, they start to believe that. They start to grow with that. And I believe that's one thing that helped, is finding those like-minded people, to surround yourself with good people. And that's the first thing I look for when I look for mentors, for other people that come alongside of them is, number one, are they a good person?
Mm.
Because I've seen good leaders, but they lead in the wrong way.
Right.
And they tear down. And I wouldn't really call them a leader.
Mm.
So you want to find people that's there for others, that wants to help. And we talked earlier today, and you used the word transformation.
Right.
I don't like conforming people to my thinking, my ways. I think about transforming your communities. But first, it starts from transforming each individual.
Sure.
And these kids, if you believe in them, they start to believe in themselves. And that's what I saw with the Omega Bites when I took over in 2018. And it was a small team, but I knew after a year that this is a great tool, robotics, STEM, but mainly it's about leadership, entrepreneurship, and growth. And how I can grow as a person.
Yeah.
And I started seeing that that's going to be a great tool, but I also need to put people around me to help me with that. And that's what I did. I started finding people that had like-minded, and they were from all different walks of life, but they loved kids, and they loved to see kids transform to turn into that person that they're meant to be.
Sure.
And it's amazing when you put good mentors around a group of people, and it can be kids or it can be anywhere. You put good people, it's contagious.
Yeah,
it's
definitely
very contagious, and it just hops on these people, and they start believing. And it takes consistency too. You just can't talk to a group of people one time,
right,
and they change. You got to build relationships.
Sure.
And that's one of the keys that I brought in too, was to build relationships with these kids and with their families, because you got to help the families too, to bring out in the kids too.
Sure.
So you work with the kids, but you also work with the parents. You start to get them to see you, to trust you with their kids, that this person is talking life into their kids, and they're helping my kid improve their lives and become who they want their child to be.
Sure.
And this happens with relationships, and it happens organically too. That this is not something that you can force on somebody. It's something that you, day after day, precept by precept, step by step, with the person, build that relationship where they start to trust you, because they won't trust you until they know you care.
Sure.
So when they start seeing that you care, you're texting them on their birthday, or you find out that they had a bad day, you come by, you put your arm around them and say, hey, I heard that things is not going great right now. And you just show that love.
Sure.
And they start to trust you, and they start to listen. And then you have somebody else speaking the same language to them of giving life and to grow. Then it just starts to take seed. Yeah. And the thing that I always like to say is, you got to make up ground around you fertile. So whenever there's a kid that comes into your ground, it's fertile and it grows.
Just nourishes. Yeah, that's beautiful. And I want to highlight one thing that you shared, which to me stands out, and it speaks in spades, that, and I've seen this happen, is that leadership team that you build around you. And I see that, I see that, and I see that a lot in my work as well, is that if only one person is building up that person, the other person, you're right, it tunes it out. Oh, he's just saying that probably because he wants to motivate me. Yeah. Yes. He wants me to do his bidding, or different things that plays on a person's mind. And they kind of think that they're seeing beyond the BS, quote unquote, like beyond the game, the play here, But then when they're all of a sudden seeing it from all the other leaders, all the other people, even sometimes amongst the teammates, even sometimes among, hanging around with this kind of environment is almost contagious.
Mm-hmm.
You know, something I like about the robotics, and I heard this, and I started using this a lot. Cooperation. You know, it's within competition, but you're cooperating at the same time. And I've seen your team a couple of times, especially Link. Um, I've seen them on the field, you know, helping out the other members and helping out. You know, yeah, they're on the field to win their competition, but let's just do one more. It's not a competition
No.
without the, you know, without the game, you know, and it's really contagious, and it really does speak in spades as, you know, let's call it, for just hierarchy sake, in a sense, the head leader who really creates that environment, that fertile ground, as you said, bringing in the right leaders, bringing in the right people, and then it just trickles down, and it really, that's when people are like, wait a second, maybe it's not a game, maybe it's not a show, maybe it's not a theatrics here, maybe this is real, you know, and I really could accomplish something in life. And just to demonstrate that, when I was with your team, and with Omega Bytes, actually, one of the kids came up to me and he shared with me that he was asking me if I could mentor him, and
Mm-hmm.
if he could work under us, like he could intern with us. At the time, we just didn't have the position to help him, but he wanted to grow his marketing capabilities. He wanted to learn more about marketing. He wanted to build a business around marketing. And when I spoke about what's your vision, what's your, and he had this vision. He had something that he had to, and I think he's now going off to college to go study this, you know, to go do this. But I believe, and I strongly believe, and I've seen him in many other competitions, you know, since we've left that team, I've still seen him, and he still is there, and he still believes in himself that he's going to accomplish, and it is directly related, his words, to, you know, mentorship like yours and your team.
That, and that's the key, is surrounding people with good people. And that, you know, that the number one thing that I believe in is finding people who want to grow an individual.
Mm,
And when you grow that individual to be the best person they can be,
right,
it grows your team
right.
to more success. And one thing that I practice this with my daughter. My daughter is 19, fixing to turn 20, second
Wow.
year, just finished her second year of college. She's heard from me all of her life is results. Don't be result driven. Don't be what is in the end for me.
Right.
It is, and you know, she makes most all A's and things
Mm-hmm.
like that, but that's not been our thing. It's
Mm,
it's to grow.
yeah.
And when you put a group of people around it that's that's looking for people to grow
Mm,
more than results, the results will come, and they will continue day after day after that. A
mm,
lot of people will strive for one thing to get that one result, but what happens after you get that result? Are
right.
you a better person because of it?
Right.
Will it continue? Are you
Mm,
continuing to grow?
mm,
And when that student that you're talking about marketing,
mm-hmm.
you know, this was a shy person and
Yeah.
a person that was in a shell, but you put people around to help him grow as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
Then he starts saying those aha moments. He'll start having those aha moments. Oh, I did that. I can
Yeah.
do that. And it starts with the I. And then if you got the right people around them, they start growing the I, but then they start saying, ooh, I can help
Mm,
others.
mm-hmm.
And I've always said this, 'cause I taught for 30 years. I was in ministry, things like that. Still am in ministry. That's a lifelong
Mm-hmm.
devotion, missions and ministry. But kid needs to grow. And that's what the teams that I've been a part of, Megabytes and now Link, is to grow those individuals,
Mm-hmm.
to be the best person they can be. And then I want that to be reproduced
Yeah.
into others. So that student you stopped talking about wants to go to marketing. Now it's about helping others,
Right.
marketing
Right.
things. And he sees that the world is not limited.
Right.
And that's what most I'm in a rural area of Rutherford County. You probably talked about that. And a lot of times it's not, I use the word underserved because they've not had the same opportunity that somebody in the city does. They've not seen as much. And sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes you see too much of the wrong stuff.
Sure.
So these students has been underserved and seen a small world. And what you got to do is open up their eyes and their minds. And I think that's the key to life is right here. Is that mindset. And that's what you start teaching is a new mindset. You start trying to transform that mind. Not conform it to a certain ideal, to transform it that they think for themselves, that they learn that they're in control. And their decisions and their thought process is the key to where they're going. And that's what these kids starts to see because their eyes starts to open. But the main thing is they start to think for themselves and they start to be more confident. And they start, and another thing that I love to teach these kids is be careful who you listen to, what voices to let in your head. Because a lot of time, most of these kids, and even in the city, don't matter where you're at, comes with a lot of labels put on them by society, by their families, by different things. And one of the things I've been in education, a lot of times by the time you're in the second grade, that's 7, 8 years old, a child already knows if he's going to be successful in life or not, if he has worth, because everything he's heard, even in media, things like that, from his families and all that, they've done got the concept in their head who they're going to be, how successful they're going to be. And that's why I love reaching these kids these teenage years, because the little kids will listen to a teenager better than they will somebody our age. You know, I'm old. You're not as old as I am. So they don't listen to us as much. So you rise up these kids that speak in life, that knows unlimited possibilities, unlimited opportunities out there. And they start speaking it to little kids. They listen to them. They start saying, ooh, I can be that. I can do that. You know, I can be anything. So those are the best. That age group being teenagers, they're full of life. They're, a lot of people like to say they're cement by then. They're not. They're not. They're just looking. Our young people today are seeking something to follow, something to be. And they'll follow anything if it sounds good. But what you got to do is make them to be the leader of their life, to make decisions and to see that they're in control. If they have the right mindset. And in faith, sometimes you got to give away control to God to let Him live through you. And to help you make decisions. But that comes with growth. Again, I believe life is growth, individual growth. And then you reproduce that growth into somebody else, and then somebody else. And then that's exponential. So you can change community, transform communities by transforming one young person.
I love it. And I do want to talk about that. And this, I think, is a beautiful segue from Omega Bytes to Link, where, you know, you took this so-called underprivileged group of kids from a very limited environment, and something that blew me away as a city boy, growing up in the city all my life and all that, and coming out to much slower pace out here. But what something that blew me away was, to what you just said, taking these kids who hardly even got out of their own county to take them to Worlds in Texas. You know, that's several states away across the country, to take them to such a big place and to rank 70 something out of world of these robots. I think 1,000 something like several thousand is what I'm understanding.
There's close to 4,000 teams
4,000.
throughout the world.
Wow. So out of 4,000 to rank 70 or something like that in that ballpark is an enormous accomplishment for such individuals. And then, leaving Omega Bytes and now joining or creating Link,
Yes.
creating Link from scratch, really is what I understand. And taking kids from all walks of life, not just one community, taking them from complete scratch, and once again just dominating field after field, taking over states, counties, districts, all that kind of nice stuff, and once again going across the country to Texas, and this time landing 50th. Like you're 20 points better or 20 positions better than what you did last time, and this is a complete rookie team, a complete. Just for like the last little bit to talk about that part of the leadership that is required to do something like that, I think talks more than just coaching, in my personal opinion.
That's a good one. When I was with the Omega Bytes, I was there for 5 years, and then I've been teaching for 30 years. And what I did was I retired from teaching and from the Rutherdforton County schools. And you to be over that, you have to be in the system. So afterwards, myself and a small group that's been doing robotics together formed those relationships. We all had sort of the same vision of what we think can help our communities, help transform our communities. And we knew using FRC, FIRST Robotics, as a tool to do that. We started meeting, we started in July of last year, just small handful of adults meeting. And when I say adults, some of these adults was 18, 19 years old. Wow. But they've been raised to be leaders. They've been raised to want to work with their community and to transform it. And so a lot of that group was 18, 19, and 20, but they've had that robotics experience of FIRST and been around me and been around some of the others too, that we knew that we wanted to do something that reached all kids, gave opportunity to all kids, not just one from a certain school or a certain school system. Right. We've got kids from public schools. We've got kids from homeschool. We've got kids from private schools, charter schools. If they want to be a part of it, they can come be a part of it. And so we started that. We got the word out, and we had some kids that come in that there was from different walks of life. We had some that been homeschooled, that was very sheltered and was in a shell. And even some of them had one with Crohn's syndrome. Wow. So again, different walks of life, but also different people. And that's one thing that this did was it was different. You had kids from one school or one school system with the old team. And we had kids from, like I said, everywhere. So again, that fertile ground, that's the thing that we stress. Before these kids come in, we had to have the structure, we had to have the vision, the missions, the personality of it, the contagiousness of it, the health of it, to be there before the first kid showed up. Right. And I believe that's one thing that helped with starting fresh. And we knew what worked. We also seen things that didn't work. So it was nice to be able to make that ground, make that base, make that foundation, the things that we knew would help it grow. Sure. because the one thing that all of us has in common is a growth mindset.
Right.
And we want to reproduce that in others. And so all these, we had things in place, and more than just the right tools for robotics, the right software, the different things. But we went beyond that. We wanted to know what we wanted in their mind, what we wanted out of our students. That growth mindset, think for themselves, define their why, define what their passions and their gifts, and to learn that everything they have to be successful in life is in them. It just needs to be unleashed.
Yeah.
And all of us mentors have that as the base of it, is to love on these kids and to help them grow as an individual. And then they reproduce that in others. And I think now winning our first 4 competitions that we went to, we went up to Virginia, Chesapeake Bay. We went in there as a rookie. They had us in the back corner. Nobody was coming to talk to us. And because it was a rookie,
nobody knows
first competition.
Sure.
And after about 3 matches, everybody was coming around us.
Wow.
See, and they was trying to say, what makes you tick? You're not a rookie team. You're different. And within a few hours on that Saturday morning, people started seeing what we had was different. We even had leads over other teams to come sit with me in the stands and just say, wait a minute, y'all are different. Talk to me about what you got going on.
Yeah.
And it don't go to robots. It goes to good people with the right mindset and love, to love on these kids, to let them sprout, to grow, to come to full bloom. And they started seeing that, and other teams started seeing that. And I even had one gentleman who was over a team, and they're a Hall of Fame team. The Hall of Fame team is a team that has done amazing things in the community.
Okay.
Not just win robots.
Right.
He came and talked to me, and he came to me and says, I know that you're a community-based, but you got a lot of faith-based stuff in your team. And I said, yes, we do. A lot of us are believers. And that just comes out. But he started talking to me about, different things. He's got curriculum at the Creation Museum and things like that. So great individual, but he just wants to keep up with us. Wow. And then from there, we came into our own state and came to Asheville, the one that you was talking about. And, we had that blue banner, and blue banner is when you win a competition. We won Virginia, came in there as a rookie team, finished first through the qualifications, and then was captain, and we won the playoffs also. Wow. Just an amazing time, and our kids saw that all the hard work and everything that I think one thing else they saw was what they've been taught, what they've been shown, what they've been said to them is true.
Yeah. And
they're going, wow. But they also started seeing when they were coming to asking them about how they tick, what they're doing. It wasn't about the end result. It was about what the personality, the persona they was putting out.
Sure.
That's what people wanted to know about, because, okay, you're winning, but there's something else different. And they wanted to know that different.
Sure.
And I think in Asheville, we came in there, and, people's already heard that we've won that one. But you still, and we had a lot of complications that weekend.
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah.
But we had complications at Virginia too, and our kids just took over and just did.
It's incredible.
They was ready.
Wow.
And that was confirmation to us too, that what we're doing was right, because in hardship, they just stepped up
They
and
really
overcame.
did. Yeah.
We didn't have to tell them.
Mm,
We didn't have to sit there and do it for them.
right.
They was prepared to take those complications, those hardships, those challenges, meet them head and wanted to overcome that.
Mm-hmm.
And that happened week after week, because even though we won our first 4, there was all up and down. We had
Yeah.
our hardships, but the kids just overcome those challenges and kept having that confidence that, hey, we can still do this. We can still do this. And I think that's going to serve them well in life too, because when they get challenged, they know
Sure.
that they can overcome those challenges, and challenges comes to help grow us.
I love that.
I think they saw that, especially at Virginia when everything broke down. I remember your brother-in-law, Caleb, said, we're going to be out for the next 4 or 5 matches.
Wow.
The kids took out as a challenge. We was out for 1 match.
Wow.
We dropped from first place to like 4th, but we only missed 1. And the next one we won. We went all the way back up to first place.
Wow.
But the kids took out as a challenge and just fixed it.
It's
and
incredible.
They didn't look up.
They just went to work.
Wow. But they had the knowledge to fix it.
Yeah.
And you was talking about that. And the key is good people coming alongside of these kids, doing life together.
Sure.
And doing everything together.
Mm.
And then when they're set out to go, they're confident.
Yeah.
Because they've been doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And I know we're running out of time. There's so much more to pick your brain on, and we're definitely gonna have a part 2, and we're definitely bringing you back on for next season. Legacy leadership. What we're gonna talk about there. But as I'm gonna just wrap up this episode, and because we are running out of time, one of the best things that came out of what you said is not being results driven. I think that if there's one takeaway to take away from anything you shared, is to focus on doing just good work.
Yes.
Being a good team, being a winning team, and something you mentioned earlier, having the winning people around you, creating Link from scratch, and it's just putting together a winning team. And then everybody wants to be part of a winning team. Mm-hmm. That's just, why else would I be part of this team, right? And it's just that, and something that I saw with the team and my involvement with the team is that one thing that I see a lot across the board, across all mentors, across all kids, they just want to be a really good team. That's all they want. And when something like, their robots crash and their, whatever it is, and something breaks and they're all freaking out. How do we do this? And, and then it's this, no, we're just the best team. We're just a freaking good team. And we're just going to come together, and that's what's driving them. It's just to be the best. Not the best in the sense of like everybody else is bad or whatever, but just we're in this because we want to win this, and we want to do this right, and we want to do this well. And here's the proof in the pudding. Yes. You take a team that never touched I don't know if they ever held a wrench in their life, let alone, anything, coding. And I think you guys are the best for automation, something like that, how it automates itself. And it's mind-blowing how when kids, a group of people come together, just want to be the best at something, and the results, the natural, organic result from that is a winning team. And you kill almost every single match that you guys go into. And, and to win 50 in such a major league, world-class environment of, as you said, about 4,000 robots, that's no easy feat. That's not something that is just, and I think that is my key takeaway, I hope, for the audience as well. And I'm just blown away. And I'm so grateful that you said yes to come here and to join us. And it just, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you.
Well, thank you for having me again. And it's been fun.
Yeah.
I think everybody sees that both of us like to talk, especially when it's talking about things that are going on great.
Sure.
And talking about others.
Right.
you said we're in the top 50 and all that, and we're coming into a new season. And one thing that we've got is our open house on Monday.
Oh, nice.
Well, the 24th of June. And so we're starting to bring in some new kids. We already got 3 or 4 new kids.
Wow.
Even before we start recruiting, we got other kids that wants to come be a part of it.
Sure.
And as you said, and when a person wants to be the best they can be, and that rubs off to somebody else on your team, else on your team, the excellence comes. And when you're striving for excellence in everything that you do, that comes off.
Rubs off.
It rubs off.
Sure.
And results happen. But the key is looking for excellence in everything that you do. Do it the best you can and being the best person you can. And that will be almost, it will become contagious because people they gravitate towards that.
They do, yeah.
And these kids have just seen that anything's possible. I've said that many times. I know that. I keep repeating that.
Yeah.
But you got to be repetitive in what you're speaking to anybody.
Sure.
Because then they start to say, "Ooh, that's right.
He really means it."
And it's not just fluff. I like to say fluff. And you don't want to be a bunch of fluff.
No.
And I appreciate you. I'm excited to see continually what comes 100%. Out of the legacy thing.
Yeah.
Leadership.
Well, this is a partnership. This goes all the way,
That's
my
right.
brother. So thank you for having me part and my family and just everything. So, this has been incredible. So I don't want this to end, but it has to. So, but we will have a part 2. We will have a continuation. We will have more of this. Thank you all so much for joining in, and sorry if we went a little bit over time, but this concludes this episode of the Exceptionally Irresistible Show. See you all again next time. Bye-bye. That's it for this week's episode of the Exceptionally Irresistible Show. What has inspired you to take action in your life? Take action now. Take the first step. Share it with a friend or write it in a journal. Subscribe and share this episode, and remember, you too are exceptionally irresistible.